Game on the line, who would take the last shot?
Me. That's a dumb question. Me.
The look away to Livingston. Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. That's 13 consecutive field goals.
That was Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player to ever play. And what he was displaying there is something I call FU confidence. Now, some might call it aura, some might call it swagger, some might just call it confidence in general. But one thing I know is Michael Jordan had it, Tiger Woods had it, Tom Brady had it, Connor McDavid has it, and I really think that Matthew Tkachuk has it too. Now, let's be clear. To have this kind of confidence, you actually need to be good. You got to have the physical ability. You got to have the skill set. Notice everybody I listed there were pretty much GOATs. But Matthew Tkachuk is a little bit different, and you'll notice athletes like this when you start to look around different sports. And it's something that most people miss when they look at them. And it's that you don't need to be the most skilled player on the ice to have this FU confidence and be able to use it to become somebody who ends up controlling games even when they're not the most skilled guy. And I say this because we all know Matthew Tkachuk is not the best skater. He doesn't have the best shot. He doesn't have the best hands. He's not the fastest. But in a lot of games or in high pressure situations, he's one of those guys who stands out and can take over a game. And a lot of it has to do with having that aura, that FU confidence, that swagger that carries him through the game and lets him step into the game with this deep belief that he can take over, he can do this. And it's funny because that kind of energy starts to radiate out into his team, that confidence, you can feel it in everybody around them. And that's why he has no problem chirping at everybody, smiling, joking, laughing, battling, hitting, carrying the puck towards the net, bumping the goalie, getting on everybody's nerves. All things that don't require you to be the most skilled, but require you to have this deep-wired belief. And this deep-wired belief is not just something you're born with. You can build it. And I say this because I've seen it happen with players that have studied, and I've seen it with hundreds of players that I've worked with. I've done it with the guys who are playing professional hockey, D1, D3, Tier 2 junior, Tier 3 junior. I've seen it happen with guys who are playing college, high school. I've seen it happen with guys playing AAA hockey, AA hockey. When you understand the concepts that I'm about to break down when it comes to Matthew Tkachuk and many other great athletes, when you learn to rewire your brain, you can have that FU confidence too that takes over and allows you to dominate in games. So what I'm going to break down in this video fundamentally is, number one, how this kind of confidence that Matthew Tkachuk has and these all-time players have is something that is deeply wired that I call an identity response. And I'm going to show you how the best players actually have learned to wire this into their game and let this alter ego and let these other components of their mind take over so they can be deeply confident when they step on the ice, no matter how they feel going into it. Even if they're nervous, even if they doubt themselves, they still find a way to let it take over. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually build this mentality, build this FU confidence into your mind, wire it in there, and then teach you how you could really go deep with it and start to take this so that it's consistently allowing you to perform at your best. And if you want to start building this system and learn the mental game, I have a free training below you can go through. There's 7 different lessons that'll break down all the core components of the mental game. Or if you want to build a personalized mental system just for you, leading you into next season, you can book a call with my assistant coach. The link's below. So let's break down Matthew Tkachuk and how he made this shift early in his career. So early in his career, he was really focused on avoiding mistakes. And he talked about this in several different interviews. He talked about, I don't want to screw up. I don't want to mess up. I didn't want to be the guy who failed in those pressure situations. And this kind of more cautious approach led him to, have limited impacts during these higher pressure moments, because when you don't allow yourself to fully embrace this and you don't fully step into this part of you, you end up kind of knowing, well, I could do it, but I don't want to mess up. And around the 2021-2022 season, Tkachuk shifted his mindset. He embraced the idea of being a player who makes plays when others hesitate. And he said, why wouldn't you want to be the guy that can make the right play at the last minute of the game, right? And everybody thinks that. But the challenge I see for so many players is that when they actually get into that moment, consciously, they can hype themselves up. They can have all the positive self-talk. They can watch all those David Goggins videos and be like, I'm the best. But when that moment comes and you don't have the subconscious wiring, well, you're going to fail. And so what I think happened for Tkachuk and what I see happen for a lot of players that I've studied is they tend to go and work with mental coaches. They tend to go and actually figure their mental game out. They don't always talk about it outwardly and talk about exactly what they did. But fundamentally, this is what happens is they shift the way they see themselves at a base level. And this is what I call changing your identity response. when someone makes an identity shift and their identity response really changes, what this looks like is you become more confident, you're more assertive, you're more proactive on the ice, you are talking to your teammates, or you find that kind of style of leadership, communication, and playing that it shows in your body language, it shows in the way you make decisions, it shows in this kind of presence and aura you have on the ice. And you can see it with Matthew Tkachuk, how he slowly built this and it's become just a major part of his game. And what I think is the most interesting part about this is it's the way he shifts into it. Because if you talk to him off the ice and you listen to him in interviews or the way he speaks to people, he is a very different person when he's off the ice versus when he steps on. When he steps on the ice, there's this like very energetic, in your face, like I'm going to make you pay for everything type of mentality. And it's kind of this almost like WWE style. And so when he steps on the ice, he has an alter ego. He might not even say he does. He might not even realize he does, but he does. It's this version of him that comes out, and it's fun to watch because he's constantly bugging everybody. He's constantly making everyone kind of worried, like, okay, this guy's going to be on me. He's going to push me out of the way. He's going to make my life horrible. And he loves it. Like, he feeds off the energy, and he's kind of crafted this for himself. And you notice how when he steps into a game, there's this kind of lightness about him. There's this kind of excitement that I think for a lot of players, if you could find that in your game or find your own version of that, you'd probably be successful, right? And so if you want to build this for yourself, I'm going to break this down very, very simply. Now, we go much more in depth when I work with players in our groups, but this is what it looks like. You want to first identify your current identity. So you want to reflect on, what are my default reactions when I feel stress, when I feel pressure, when I feel worry or doubt? What are the responses I have? How do I start to think? How do I start to feel? Then how do I act? And what you can do to actually create this is visualize some of the big moments you've been in the past and start to put yourself back in that state. Notice how your body feels. If there's a certain area of your body that kind of tenses up or you feel that emotional energy. And when you start to notice it, you'll start to become aware of, oh, okay, that is the kind of part of me that comes out. That's that protector part of me that wants to prevent me from messing up or is scared to be embarrassed or doesn't want to disappoint people. You'll notice that it comes in and it kind of creates this barrier between you and your performance. And what this feels like, it's almost like a trap self. Like, you know, there's a better version of you underneath that, but you can't seem to kind of let it out. And so if you want to learn to let it out, you want to use something called the alter ego effect. There's also a lot of other skills we can start to develop, but you want to basically say, okay, the alter ego effect is something that Todd Herman taught tons and tons, like thousands of professional athletes, Olympians. He's famous for having taught Kobe Bryant how to build his Black Mamba mentality. He's working with 7 other players in the NHL that we know of. He's working with Matt Duchene for sure. Duchene has actually been shown talking about this openly, and it's really cool, right? Because this stuff actually works, and it works because when we psychologically shift into an alter ego and we actually basically pretend to be the best version of us, we realize that, oh, this part has been trapped inside me. It's been there the whole time, but there's been parts of me who have been kind of trying to hold me down so that I don't basically do something that I'm afraid will happen, right? Like, I'm afraid I'll fail and then I'll look bad, and that's what your brain is trying to avoid, basically. And so you want to design and envision basically, what is the player I want to be? Is it confident? Is it mean? Is it nasty? Is it joyous and bouncy? Is it fun and playful? You want to find that style. There's not a right style. There's a style that's right for you or better for you. And you want to basically develop this and think, okay, who am I being? You can think of a superhero. You can think of a movie character. You can think of really anything. And you can imagine, okay, I'm going to pretend to be that when I play. You can even just pretend you're a different player. But you have to fully step into it and trust it that when you step into that character, it can take over. And it's not always easy to trust this, because what can happen is you make a mistake and then you end up getting into what I call a rigid mindset, which is you become afraid that if I fail, if I make a mistake, well, then I can't trust that character anymore. And I got to go back to the ego version of me, that trapped version of me that says, no, we're just going to play simple, keep it safe, throw the puck away, just be simple, don't do anything wrong, right? And I spent most of my career trying not to do things wrong. And I can tell you from experience, it's not a fun way to play. And so you want to basically create that. You want to establish what that really looks like and define, okay, this is what that character is. This is who I become when I step on the ice. And you start to learn to trust it. And the real skill is that after a game, you want to be able to establish, okay, did it work? Did I fully step into it? Did I trust myself? Or did a protective part or some emotion or thought start to kind of come in and block me? Did it prevent me from really allowing that to take over? And what we want to really do is before the game, we build a routine. We understand how we want to act. We understand how we want to feel. We step into that character. You want to create a trigger. That trigger can be very, very simple, right? It can be something like, okay, I pick up a little bit of ice. It can be simply just tapping a certain area of the body. You can do a little movement or whatever it is. But when you do that, you want to signify and feel that shift. You want to feel a shift into that new character. And when you do that, again, it's not you pretending, it's you just allowing those parts of you that are there to just come out. It shifts your beliefs. It shifts how you see yourself. It shifts the story you have about who you are and what you're doing on the ice, what you're capable of. All those things change because this version of you is like a superhero version of you. That's what Todd Herman talks about. It's a superhero. It's a ultimate version of you. So there's insane power in this. And if you look at how Michael Jordan used to play, you look at Kobe Bryant, you look at any of these elite athletes, you look at Matthew Tkachuk, if you look at McDavid, they can be somebody different off the ice, but when they step on, they switch. They flip into this new version of them. And a lot of people don't even realize they do it. But when you find your flow state, when you find your ultimate playing style, it comes from finding who you are, finding your identity or your alter ego that plays for you when you play. And then you naturally just step into it and you've built that trust. So you want to build rituals. You want to start to have a routine that allows you to step into it. You want to have that trigger that allows you to go, okay, cool, stepping into it now. And then from there, there's a lot more nuance. There's a lot more details. There's also a lot of skills you want to develop in terms of using meditation, using visualization, using mental programming to go very deep with it. But I think that if you just simply write out very clearly, who have I been? What is that old kind of trapped part? What are those kind of protector parts that come out when I'm scared, when I don't play the way I'm capable of? And then write down, okay, who do I want to be? What does that look like? Very clearly, imagine who it is, create a trigger for it, create a pregame routine for it. In the game, you can also have a trigger of remind yourself, have a word you say to bring yourself back into it. I call that like a power word. And then after the game, you simply just reflect and say, okay, did that work? Did I play the way I wanted? Did I not? And you can learn from it. You can figure out why I did, why I didn't. And I think you'll gain a lot from this. And so Matthew Tkachuk's transformation really demonstrates the power of a really well-crafted mental game. Somebody who has that confidence, that aura, that FU mentality. And what I hope you took away from this is it's not that you have to have this exact like FU, I hate you, like mean, nasty version of you, but you want to develop a strong identity response that is who you want to be. And that comes from creating that alter ego that steps in and plays for you. And so if you want to go deeper with this and you want to build out a whole system to build out an alter ego, understand how to actually program focus, confidence, deep belief into yourself, feel free to click the link below, start the free training that'll walk you through the basics. You can book a call below with my assistant coach. He'll break things down for you and see if you're a good fit to talk to me for a 60-minute call. We can talk through things on that call if you are a good fit, see if it makes sense to work together. I'll offer you some free resources if not, and really just set you on the best path possible. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you think that this was a good video, let me know. If you think this video sucked and you want to see something different, let me know. I appreciate you watching, and subscribe so that you can actually see the next ones. If you want to see me go deeper into the alter ego, deeper into different concepts about how to focus, how to meditate, visualize, whatever you're looking for, let me know, and hope you have a great day.